Okay, so what we're going to get here is 0.3658 for our pooled proportion. I went ahead and added an ED to the end. So this is the sample proportion when I've pooled. What I've done is I've actually said here, just to kind of explain this again, that the old and the young, we're assuming that the snoring rates should be the same between the two, that there's no difference. And because we're assuming they come from kind of the same population and there should be no difference, it actually would not make sense for me to use the different numbers in this formula, because basically what I would be saying is that if there's no difference between the two, then there's no reason. So we're kind of combining everything together in a sense. We're combining the number of successes and the two sample sizes together, and what we get in our calculator is 0.3658. And that is just the sample pooled, okay? And that's the number that we're going to use when we go to find out what the standard error is. Okay, so I'm going to come back up here. And I'm going to go ahead and do the standard error. So I'm just going to, you could write SE if you want to, or you can write S. And remember, this is the formula that we used right here. So this is just the standard error. So if I want, I could write S, or I can write SE to talk about the standard error. So I'm just going to plug these numbers into this formula that I have right here. Okay. And what I'm going to see is I have the square root of, okay, now anytime I have PO or PY, I'm going to use this number that we found here. So I'm going to use 0.3658 times 1 minus 0.3658, okay? Kind of extend my square root sign out because it's going to be kind of a long number. And I'm going to divide that by, okay? Now I'm going to divide it by the number that we used for both of these. So what I could say is that the NO is going to stay the same. So what was my number of older people used? Well, that was my 811. Okay, so in a sense, what we did is we've come down here and we've changed this to what we're using here is the P hat pooled after I've put everything together. And we're going to use that same number for this, and this, and this, because we've kind of, what we've done is we've kind of made everything balanced out by using this number, okay? So now continuing with my formula, I'm going to put a plus sign here. If I wanted to, I could kind of put an arrow since I'm using, I could have written it out to this side, but that's okay. So now I'm going to use the same number, so 0.3658 times 1 minus 0.3658. I just realized I forgot a 6 right there, and that's going to be divided by the number of people that was in our younger sample size. Well, if I look back up here, the number of people in my younger sample size, it looks like was 184. Okay? So this whole number here is going to give me the standard error, and what I've done is instead of using the different types of, because I'm assuming they're the same thing, so what I've done is I've went ahead and pulled them together before plugging them into the formula. Okay, so now I'm just going to pause real quick and go ahead and figure out what that is, and I want you to do the same in your calculator.